Yes. All right, Richard, I'm going to open up here. Let's see. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Jeff, and we've got Richard. Richard, why don't you say hi?
Hello, this is Richard Lomax.
All right, folks, I'm going to check the time real quick. Richard, is that 3:30 right now? Yeah, I see 3:30 on my clock, and in fact, Outlook just reminded me that we are supposed to be here. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I will say thank you for joining us today on our little YouTube live audio question and answer session here. Today we're just going to talk about the Clay and Tuck replication study that you all have volunteered to help us out with. On the YouTube live page, you will see on the right-hand side down at the bottom a place where you can type questions in for us, and we will see it over here, and I will read them out loud. Let me go ahead and talk about our overview for the study. Let me get to my slides. Here we go. So our agenda for today is Richard's going to open up. He's going to talk about the study a little bit, and then we're both going to talk about this, the instructions for the study and the data entry instructions, and then we'll just open it up for teacher leader questions, and that is the point where you can start typing your questions right in the chat window, and we'll try to answer them right there. So, Richard, I'm going to turn it over to you. Why don't you talk a little bit about the study?
Okay. Well, again, thanks everyone for participating. The Tuck and Clay study was conducted in New Zealand in 1988 with a couple of hundred RR children. And the original intent was to look at data over time, weekly data, on text reading level and writing vocabulary, with the idea of predicting the subgroups. This is known as the subgroup study, those who are discontinued versus those who are recommended. And I thought it was time that we did something more modern than that and in the US. And so that's sort of driven the study to be formulated. I think there'll be a number of benefits that we might see out of it. One, obviously, is the replication study itself. Secondly, although IDEC collects lots of data, and we won't talk about that, but lots of data, we don't systematically collect data during the intervention. And so having data during the intervention will inform future research. It will inform our knowledge of the intervention. It will inform teachers. Teachers will be able to access this data for their children and then take a look at how they're progressing through some IDEC software. And although we're cognizant of time that teachers put into their regular duties, we're quite cognizant of that. And therefore, we've tried to make the participation in this study as effortless as possible. So that's kind of the backdrop of the study. And so let's turn to the instructions now. So there's a parallel set of instructions for teacher leaders and teachers. We're going to look at the teacher leader ones.
I've got them up on the screen now, Richard.
So we'll just go through these, and that might spur some questions. So first, we're just looking at first round reading recovery children. At this point in time, we'll have a sufficient sample size from the 3 UTCs that are participating. We're only using trained teachers, not those in training, to eliminate some other extraneous things. teachers that are participating will randomly select 2 of their children. Typically they have 4 or more. So they're just going to select 2 of their children randomly in some fashion, flipping a coin or getting with their teacher leader or, whatever might work. And then following those 2 children throughout the study. Data collection will begin in week 2. And our definition of week 2 is the second week that you've been involved with those children. So for instance, maybe week one might be roaming, and then week 2 might be starting the intervention. And so whenever we get to the end of week 2 of working with the children, that's when the first data collection will take place. Just to try to standardize things, it will be, weeks 2, 4, 6, 8, etc., up to week 20. And so in week 2, it will be whatever day is the last lesson that the teacher has with those 2 children. So typically it's Friday, it might be Thursday if there's a holiday or something else comes up. We're not going to worry about Thanksgiving because that's a whole nother can of worms. So in terms of the data that we would like to collect, first, this will be at the end of that second week again. And so there'll be a lesson preceding the activities. And so there'll be three data points that deal with text. So there'll be text reading level, accuracy, and self-corrections. And those would be things that the teachers are already collecting, so there won't be really any additional labor there. Then in addition, there'll be a writing vocabulary measure, which we don't really have a standardized one, so we've kind of developed one. It's a 3-minute writing spree, so it will be at the end of that lesson. And so the teacher will present pairs of words to the child. These are words that have been learned through writing during those ensuing 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, 4 weeks, etc. And so the score that would be generated would be how many words they've completed correctly during the 3 minutes. So that's the data set that we'll be collecting. And Jeff will say a little bit about the data entry side of that.
Okay. So what we're going to need people to do, one of the first things our teachers to do to help us facilitate, we're going to send reminder emails to the teachers. And to help us facilitate that, the first thing we're going to need the teachers to do, and I'm going to drag my sample web browser over here. For the children that are participating in the study, if we could have the teachers at a minimum, here we are waiting for my browser. I've got a lot of things running at the same time here. We just need teachers to tell us the child's, at the minimum, at the beginning of the school year when they start the study, when is their date of first roaming. And what that allows us to do is to send reminder emails at the appropriate time, so we're not pestering people on the incorrect weeks and everything. So if you could just have your teachers, at the minimum, fill out the date of first roaming here on question number 2, they can hit the save button, and that puts the date in our system, and we are fine with that. Then every 2 weeks, well, before I get on, let me look over what my next instruction is. Yes, all right, was going on the next one. So teachers will fill out the data for this study. They will notice a new column on the right-hand side of their student data entry screen that says bi-weekly logs, and it's right over here. It's at the very right-hand side, and it will only show up for reading recovery students. And to enter the data for the study, all they do is just click on the little bi-weekly logs page for that student, and what they will see are sets of 4 questions for each of the data collection weeks. So 4 questions for week 2, 4 questions for week 4, and so on for week 6, 8, and all the way up to week 20. So each week, remember, we're asking teachers to enter in the text reading level, accuracy, their writing vocabulary, and then they can select a self-correction rate. And when they are done, even though my screen is not showing it up here, they'll click the Save button. They do not need to submit it to you because they'll have to be able to fill it out in 2 weeks again. If a teacher does accidentally submit it to you, every week we are going to unsubmit these records for you. We'll just put them back in data entry mode. That way you don't have to worry about it every week. So if they do, don't worry about it. We'll get it all fixed up every week. One limitation in our data system for the biweekly log page is that we can't make it appear for just individual teachers or students. It's going to pop up for all. They will see a possibility to enter a biweekly log for all of their reading recovery students. You can just have them ignore that biweekly log page for teachers who aren't participating in the study, or for students who aren't participating in the study. You don't have to feel like you'll delete it. We can go through and clean that up as well. As mentioned earlier, we are going to be sending the teachers on Wednesdays. We will try to send bi-weekly reminders to them to just remind them to get their data in, and this is going to be dependent on them entering their their data first roaming. And then I'm finally number 11 here, and this is me repeating myself. Like I said, teachers do not have to submit the data to you for your approval at the end of the week unless you really want them to, or for those weeks. If they do, we are going to automatically unsubmit them before the next time of data entry, so you don't have to worry about going back and returning them. And as it says here, if you have questions, contact the help desk. We've tried to think of what we can, but we know that things will come up, and we will try to get an answer to you as quickly as we can. All right, this concludes the instructions sections. Richard, did you anything to add before we move into the Q&A part?
Not really. Just to follow up from Jeff's comments, unlike some other data collection, teacher leaders are not really involved in data entry or reviewing the data or anything like that. Teachers enter it, and that's sort of it.
And we've tried to put data validate, not try, we have put data validations on there, so it won't let teachers enter in invalid values. So, all right, so we'll open it up to questions. For those of you who aren't watching the video live but are watching this recorded later, we have to pause here for about 45 seconds because people who are watching it live are see it slightly delayed, so it might take a minute or two for a question to show up. So, it's not that I don't enjoy hearing myself talk, but I'm going to be silent for a second. Richard, I guess it's a good time for that joke you said I should do. In case anyone is wondering, since it was such a popular topic at the Teacher Leader Institute, I am not wearing a purple shirt today.
Boo!
I know. I'm supporting my school today. I have a nice Ohio State shirt on today, so. No questions yet. We'll give it another minute here and see if anything rolls through. Oh, here is a question. Quick clarification. Teachers began to report data at end of 2 consecutive weeks, not 10 days. Correct? Or right. So yeah, yes, we want. Yes, they report the data at the end of 2 consecutive weeks.
So they were probably thinking, well, what if we start on a Wednesday or something like that versus a Monday?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the 10 days out would be the following Friday, and so you're just saying let's extend it a little bit. If you start the if you start working with the children in the middle of the week.
Well, what do you want to say to that, Richard?
Well, at the end of 2 full weeks. And
Okay.
so it might be two and a half weeks if they started working with the children on a Wednesday.
Okay. Another question is, I'm going to add here. It says, what if the child moves? Do they select another student?
Only if that happens before week two rolls around. And so obviously there'll be some children that will move out. We're not going to replace them. We have a pretty large sample across the 3 UTCs. And so we're not going to worry about replacing anyone.
Okay. We have a teacher leader's added some comments here, I think, to our first question. She says, roaming 10 days, and there will be no formal running records or teaching of new words. For most, 3 weeks is the first they will have running records and teaching of words, etc. So I think that was a comment about whether it's 2 consecutive weeks or 10 days. So I think that supports what you're saying, Richard, a full 2 weeks.
Right. So in that case, then the first assessment would be at the end of week 3.
Okay. Another question. This one says, can teachers in their field year participate? And no, this one is we're asking for trained teachers only for this study. So just to so we're not total dead air here. So I think Richard and I also want to say thank you for everyone who is volunteered to help do this. We know it all kind of came together at the very last minute, and we appreciate that you're willing to help us do this and everything. All right, I'm going to wait another minute here, see if we got any more questions that show up. So our teacher leader is saying with just field, with only not so much a question, a comment, that this makes a big difference for our site then in regards to can teachers in their field year participate. All right, another question. Will teachers be entering the number of new words or a cumulative number of words? And I think I can read that answer straight from our instruction page here. It's on instruction number 6, part D. This is a 3-minute. Well, it's all right. So we're entering writing vocabulary, and it's the new words learned by the student during the 2 weeks. So this is a 3-minute writing spree done at the end of the lesson. Teacher will present pairs of new words learned through the writing during the past 2 weeks. Students will write the new words using markers. Students complete as many words as they can during the 3 minutes. The total number of correct words written during those 3 minutes is what is entered. Then I have a question that says, can I get clarified in response to the field year question? So only those teachers who have with 2 full years of reading recovery. Yes, anyone who has 2 or more years of reading recovery can participate with their students in the study. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. There was a follow-up to that. So Richard, so we have a teacher leader with a teacher who has, oh, no, I'm sorry. We have 14 teachers in the field year that were trained last year. So yes, the teachers that were trained last year, those 14, would be eligible to participate in the study with their students.
We just didn't want to put any more on the plate of the teachers in training, that's all.
Yeah. All right, we'll pause here for another minute, see if any more questions pop up. Richard, I feel like we should have had like interview questions for each other. And we can be like, well, Richard, while we're waiting.
What are you doing this weekend, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm replacing my gutters is what I'm doing this weekend. All right, it's not, all right. Teacher says thank you for the clarification. You're welcome. Happy to do that.
Well, I want to echo Jeff's comment. I really want to thank all of you for participating. I think this will be an important study in terms of seeing, documenting children's progress over time and, seeing the extent to which we can predict the outcome.
All right,
It is Friday
Friday
afternoon here, Jeff.
What's that?
It is Friday afternoon.
Yeah. We'll wait another 30 seconds here and this may not go down as one of our most entertaining videos in the world, but
well, we could have done it on Monday during the total eclipse.
No. Oh, here's a question. Oh, okay. So I have a question that says, my site is not often able to pay the IDEC bill until later in the year. Will teachers who want to participate be able to access the IDEC data page if necessary? To allow data entry, we have to have payments in the system. So here's what I'll say. Teacher leaders, if you have teachers that are participating in the study and you haven't had a chance to pay yet, contact the help desk, let them know, and we will just let us know how many teachers are participating in the study, and temporarily we'll give you, X number of teacher data entry fees and the site setup fees, so you can at least start getting the data entered. And then once we get payment, we'll fix all the payment stuff. But yeah, we'll make it. Just let us know if you do need payments. If we need to do some fake payments for you, or temporary payments. All right, we'll pause here once again, another minute, see if we have any questions pop up. Oh, our question person says, thank you, you're welcome. We'll see if anyone else has any questions. Someone has thanked me for my purple shirt and also has thanked us both, Richard. So I am.
Well, I don't have a purple shirt yet. You haven't given me one.
All right, I guess we're gonna have to work on that one. So. Boy, you can tell it's Friday. We're all a little giddy over here, so. All right, we'll give it some time here for some more real questions. None of this purple shirt nonsense. Oh, teacher leader says, thank you for your work. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, Richard, so I think it looks like maybe we won't have any more real questions rolling in here, so I think we will say thank you, everybody, for your time today and to hopping on the video. It takes YouTube about 15 minutes to process these live videos and put them back up online as a video as you can watch again. And so that'll be up there, and you can let colleagues know that they can watch it up there if they want to, or they can just go to videos.idecweb.us and look for the Clay and Tuck replication study video. So I think we'll say goodbye. Richard, do you want to say goodbye?
Thanks a lot, everyone, and you guys all have a good weekend.
All right. Talk to everyone later. Bye.